Hey, I want to do a quick lesson about something that I constantly seeing on the internet, especially from mostly, I guess, from the beginner guitar players. Everybody is asking, well, not everybody, people who are beginners on the guitar are asking a lot about strumming pattern. And you really don't need to ask or anyone to show you a strumming pattern on guitar. It's very easy to figure it out yourself. How do you do that? Well, you start thinking like a drummer. So, first you drum out the pattern and then you transfer that pattern on the guitar. So, for example, I had to learn this song from Encanto Disney movie called Dos Orugitas. And it starts on C chord. And I strum it something like that, but it could be strummed in many different ways. I'll show that. So, what I'm strumming can be transferred on the as a percussion beat. For example, this sounds something like right. But also I could change it to if I feel like it. If I feel like it, I can change it to a different strumming pattern. So for example, I might hear this beat. It's a little busier, right? Then I transfer that on the guitar. Or it can be a little bit more something more sparse, maybe something like so you get the point. By the way, Dos Oruguitas song, it doesn't begin the way vast majority of the internet chord transcriptions are showing you. There's only one that I found that was correct. So everybody's telling you to go from C major to go to E minor. One I found that says go from C major, go to E minor with a B in bass. And I can see a reason for that. And then after E minor you go to C7. That's incorrect. This song is simply using in those first couple of chords. It's using a very common compositional thing where you just move the melody note, but the chord underneath stays the same. So in the case of Dos Oruguitas, you go C major, C major 7, C7 to F, right? It's very common. Like people that maybe follow my channel know that I'm playing gypsy jazz mostly. And one song that, well, at least I play sometimes a gypsy jazz, is Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, and it does the same thing. You're too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You are the heaven to touch. My pattern was a little messed up there, but I wanted to show that. Or another song that's pretty popular in circles where I play is Blue Skies, and it's the same idea but in a minor key. So in A minor. So blue skies shining at me. I think nothing like blue skies over me. So it's A minor chord, but it's moving that note to change the flavor. So in Dos Oruguitas case, ba-da-da-da-da, 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 ba-da-da-da-da. and so on. The rest is correct. Any one of these transcription you open, the rest is correct. So that's that. Oh, another thing. The reason why a lot of people hear after C major, they hear E minor, and I'm kind of pretty convinced that like most of these sites are just copying one another. They just want to put content on their website, so they just go like, yo, okay, how do you play this song, and see something on the other website and just like copy and paste, because a lot of them are really like completely identical. So where is this mistake coming from? It's coming from when you play C major and then you play C major 7. Well, you end up with basically E minor, because if I keep these three fingers and move my finger here, which is, I mean, that's exactly what I was doing. So if I play just like these four strings and play E in bass, that's E minor. I don't want to go into like now like huge explanation about how and why. I don't want this video to like turn into like this like huge thing, but this is E minor, so that's why. So maybe in that sense they're actually correct, but trust me on this. In song Dos Orugitas, you should be playing C major, C major 7, C dominant 7, and so on. And one transcription that I saw that says play C and then play E minor with B in bass. Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, you're not really playing E minor in bass. You're moving the bass note. So what I'm doing is I'm playing C, and then this is C major, but I put B in bass, and that way I can move the bass note. Check this out. So I kept moving the bass line, right? But I was playing C major, moving the bass line to B, again C with like this is basically dominant 7 note in C chord. Then there's like this inversion of F major. I'm not gonna go into explaining the fingering and all that, because this is already like getting to be like 8-minute video or something. And then you move again the note that makes this inversion a F minor, and then you go back to C, but you're playing like the 5th in bass. But forget about the words. Just listen to the sound, and it's a nice sound. And so on. Oh, interesting thing that I've seen this connection between drumming and guitar strumming pattern. I've seen the connection for a long time, and just like randomly, I met this guy who's actually percussionist from Cuba, and like back in I was at the 70s, he was part of a fairly major band, the band that was on the scene at the time, and we were talking about music, and randomly he mentioned, says, in our music tradition, Cuban music tradition, guitar is considered percussion instrument. Because that's what you do. You create different percussive beats by using different strumming beats. So that was really great to hear, because it sort of like validated what I was thinking for a long time. So there you go. Think drumming pattern, whatever you might hear. If you play with 2 or more guitar players, then you'll probably have to agree on what pattern to use. Otherwise, it'll probably get messy. But if you're by yourself trying to learn a new tune, whatever you hear, transfer it on the guitar. That's it.